are the people who are protesting, are they anti-BJP, anti-right-wing, anti-Modi people anyway? Or are you seeing new converts? Is there a shifting stance? Is there a changing mood?
Thank you very much, Namita. He's the young man, I'm the energetic person.
Okay.
So
I'm both.
I'm going to wear on this very special day the great flag of this great country. You know, we need to reclaim our republic. Not through a flag, not necessarily by wearing a flag or standing up for the national anthem in a cinema theater. But we need to reclaim the republic by reclaiming the values for which this republic stands. This is not a battle about Rahul Gandhi, Narendra Modi. अरे राहुल गांधी नरेंद्र मोदी आते रहेंगे जाते रहेंगे ये देश बना रहेगा. We are much too focused on individuals in this country. This country stood for certain values. When today achievement, and I'm going beyond Shaheen Bagh only to say, don't even look at Shaheen Bagh. For God's sake, look at democratic institutions. There's a chief minister of a state today whose photograph I saw 6 months in detention without any attempt being made by the Supreme Court of this country to even hear the habeas corpus petition of life and liberty. And the best response I'll get is वो नेहरू जी के ज़माने में यही हुआ था शेख अब्दुल्ला के साथ. I am living in 2020. This is a young India which has never lived under Jawaharlal Nehru. This is a young India which is living under the India of the 21st century. And I think in Shaheen Bagh, in other places, you are finding different anxieties expressing themselves. Let's be honest, a predominant, in my view, who are leading Shaheen Bagh are women, yes, but also members of the minority community. They feel a sense of fear. Now, who is going, if Amit Shah can go all across Delhi to communicate Citizenship Amendment Act, what stops him from going to Shaheen Bagh? The greatest Indian that the 20th century threw up was Mahatma Gandhi. You know what he'd have done? He'd have gone and sat within Shaheen Bagh and listened. I agree with Sachin Pilot. There is nobody here today to listen. The greatness of this country came through dialogue. And I think what is happening, Namita, is the absence of a dialogue. Those voices in Shaheen Bagh are perhaps eventually going to get silenced. They will fade away. Elections will happen. But the anxieties will remain. The big headline, according to me, today is not Shaheen Bagh, but the fact, as I just saw in a leading Hindi daily, 3.74 crore jobs have been lost in the last 5 years in 7 sectors alone. You know, those are the issues we should be debating. Those are the issues we should be. It's not going to be about Congress versus BJP. It's not as if Sachin Pilot's party comes to town and things will change. But that plus democratic institutions. Supreme Court, Namita, notice board. Aaj subah 11 baje Amit Shah comes and says Article 370 scrap. No consultation. Supreme Court notice board. A Parliament notice board. Goes to Parliament and says that Article 370 is scrapped without consultation. Parliament is a notice board. Supreme Court does not discuss issues of life and liberty. Then you've got the executive, where the finance minister of the country is not present at meetings with economists and with industrialists ahead of the budget. Then you've got an opposition, which is completely today bankrupt of ideas and leadership and an organization. Then you've got the media, which is a complete surrogate to those in power. I concede that large sections of the media raise questions more of the opposition than they do of the government. You've got the armed forces, where army chiefs are acting today like political warriors. I mean, it never happened, and they get rewarded by becoming the chief of defense staff. You've got the Reserve Bank of India. 2 governors lost their jobs because they questioned the government. You don't have a chief information commissioner in this country at the moment. These are the issues we should debate. As I said, Rahul Gandhi, Narendra Modi are not what the democracy index is about. Democracy is about institutions. It's about values. And I believe both values and institutions today are in serious danger. Democracy is in recession. We keep talking about economic recession. we are creeping into an elected autocracy where democracy is in recession. That's what should anger us.
Rajdeep, you just answered all 10 of the questions I had for you.
I'm learning, you see, in TV now I've learned कि एक बार माइक हाथ में लगाए उसको छोड़ो मत. I'm becoming a neta, sort of.
Oh.
No, sort of.
Okay. Before I come back to Sachin on institutions, I want to ask you, you said this is not about individuals. And yet your book, How Modi Won India, is very much about a new kind of politics, the kind of politics that Sachin's father would not have recognized, which is run by marketing whiz kids in backrooms somewhere, brand Modi, brand Rahul, etc. So it is about the individual. How do you get away from that?
Sure, I think that's a completely fair question. I think across the world there is this hunger for a superhero, this political strongman who's going to fix the system. Mr. Modi is there at the right place at the right time. And let's not only call it about marketing. Let's be fair. Mr. Modi has emerged in a milieu which I believe has over the last 25 years, identity politics has become more and more important. You look at yourself, number of voters see themselves as Hindus first, Muslims first, Dalits first, Yadavs first. And Mr. Modi has been able to capture a certain template of a new India. You cannot run away from that. My point is that that doesn't necessarily mean that the individual alone is responsible for what we see around us. There is a Modi model across this country. In state after state you go. If you speak out against a Namita Bhandare, you can be jailed. If you speak out against a Naveen Patnaik, you could get into prison. I don't know about Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot. Maybe Rajasthan is a bit better. But in general, we are seeing the emergence of these autocratic leaders. And Mr. Modi is part of that phenomenon. As I mentioned in the book, money, media, the machine is a very, very, it is hugely intimidating, and it invisibilizes the opposition. That's what's happening in this country. In the 2019 elections, eventually it became about the Timo factor. There is Modi only. Aega to Modi hi. And you were able, and that was the BJP's success, not just marketing. It reflects on the bankruptcy of the opposition. I keep saying this, Rahul Gandhi has never missed an opportunity to miss an opportunity. But forget him for a moment. Forget him for a moment. Forget him. That gets you the applause. The real question is, are Indians going to start voting for individuals irrespective of whether that individual truly represents the values of the republic? I think that's the question we should ask. When a prime minister asks people to says protesters can be defined by their clothes, when he speaks the language of Shamshan Ghat and Kabristan, ask yourselves in your quieter moments, when you don't see yourself as a Hindu and a Muslim, is this the kind of leadership that a new India wants? Ask yourself this question and then give the answer. And to that extent, I was forced to write this book because he won the election by playing the politics of the strongman, but also playing the politics of deceit and deception. To give you an example, Mani Shankar Iyer called Modi a Neech Admi. The Prime Minister turned it into Neech Jati Ka Admi. The Prime Minister called his former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh a traitor for meeting the former Foreign Minister of Pakistan at a meeting at which several diplomats were present. Is this the kind of India we want? Do we want to have a toxic India where we call anyone who disagrees with us anti-national, Pakistan chale jao, tukde tukde? The problem is Pakistan Airlines doesn't have enough visas for all of us to go to Pakistan. And do you really want to compare? We talk about the democracy index. We talk of the democracy index, Namita. Are we really going to compare ourselves to Pakistan in 2019 or 2020? We should aspire to much higher values.
Rajdeep has also now answered all my reserve questions. So I'm going to switch off his mic.
Yeah.
I want to come to you. Sachin, I think something that Rajdeep said.
What I'm going to do is, I'm going to call Mr. Puri, the owner of India Today, and tell him that Rajdeep may be looking at something else besides journalism, with the kind of speeches making.
Sachin, I want you to answer this question because it is a serious question and it comes up again and again. That give or take a few years, the Congress has been in power in this country for nearly 60 years. What was stopping the Congress from building institutions that were strong enough to have withstood the erosion and the onslaught that they are undergoing?
Namita, I think you're being unfair. The fact that the Congress party was in power for a long time was because every 5 years, these very same people voted for the Congress party. And the institutions, by the way, survived for 6.5 decades because of people governing them. Never did you see the Election Commission or the RBI or the Supreme Court of India or the armed forces, like Rajdeep said, interfering in television debates, making comments. You think Rajiv Gandhi had 400 plus MPs? He could have rewritten the whole constitution. He didn't do that. Indira Gandhi had clear majority. It depends on how, see, you judge a person by the things he or she does when they have the power, not before that. I want to make a very quick point about democracy.
One brought in the emergency, the other brought in the defamation bill.
But emergency,
so please,
but let me tell you,
do not.
But Rajdeep, the Congress party
you prepared the ground for the rise of Narendra Modi by opening the gates of the Babri Masjid. And in a way, that's the honest truth.
Rajdeep,
you allowed that decade.
It's very easy to go in hindsight and blame everybody except look unto yourself. The Babri Masjid issue led to the rise of L.K. Advani. Today, who is in Margdarshak Mandal? He's nowhere in sight. Mr. Bajpayee became Prime Minister. Nothing happened. It's all very well to sit in a studio to talk at people. This crowd here is not the average voting people of India. They can all cheer for you and me. But let's be real. Electoral politics has its own nuances. And unless you fight the battle with the way everybody else is fighting the battle, you will not be in contention. You can get cheers, you can get clapping, but you will not be able to rule and govern. And only when you are in the mainstream, it's okay to pass comments. It's okay to pass judgments. I think it's a free country. And Namita, I'm deviating just a little bit. 1 second. Democracy, right? Your first sentence. Holding, conducting, and winning elections is not democracy. We have democracies in Singapore, in Russia, in Turkey, even in Pakistan. Voting for people is not democracy. Feeling like a part of the government is democracy. When you feel that this is my ruling elite, I am part of that person. You could be in Mizoram, in Pondicherry, in Kargil, or in Gujarat. You feel this is my country, I can vote you out. The power that you are stronger, bigger, and more influential than the government itself, that individual power that you have as a voter, that is democracy. Our roots of democracy in India are very, very strong. Rajdeep, I don't think one act, one government or one leader can actually even touch the roots of a democracy. It has taken 70 years to rebuild this. 1952, when we had our first elections, the Western world said, India cannot be democracy. Yeah. Democracy is for educated people. You have to read and write. We had symbols for our election campaigns. In 52, we proved adult franchise universally for everybody. We proved to the entire world that we can be democratic 65 years ago. In 2020, forget democracy. We want quality of leadership. We want people to look at issues. We want empathy. We want compassion. We want accountability. And believe me, people of India are smarter than you and me on the stage. They will do the right thing when the time comes. But people have given somebody the mandate. It's our job to make that person, that government accountable. And you know, you talked about money, machine, what is the third M that you used? Muscle.
Media.
And media. The only good thing Rajdeep did is he mentioned the word media after talking about me and Rahul Gandhi. He redeemed himself. Because there is certain accountability on the fourth pillar of our democracy. So you can have the muscle, you can have the media, you can have the machine, whatever it is. It is ultimately the individual who presses the button. People did not press the button of the BJP in Jharkhand. Why? In Delhi, BJP will not win that election. Why? It is the wisdom of the voter. You can't blame money and machine, muscle. It's individuals. It's what you see, it's how you reflect and how you vote. Ultimately, we are responsible. And by the way, last point. People get the government they deserve. Let's be clear about it. So don't now cheer for Rajdeep and me and don't clap. People vote for people that they elect. There's no two ways about it. And then you can say, where is Congress party? What is Rahul Gandhi doing? What is Rajdeep Sardesai doing? But we all elected the people that are governing a country today, right?
Right.
Please clap.